Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are going to break down exactly how you can legally and successfully sublet your property on Airbnb right here in the UAE. We're talking about turning that spare room or empty apartment into a real asset. Okay, let's just dive right in. If you live in the UAE, you've probably thought about this. You've got this rental and you're wondering, could I turn this into some extra cash on the side? Especially with the tourism market just booming here. It's a really tempting idea, right? But the whole process can feel a little intimidating. Like, where do you even start?
Well, that is exactly what we're here to do. Think of this as your complete roadmap. We're going to walk you through everything, from figuring out the laws and getting the right permissions, all the way to creating that perfect 5-star guest experience that'll get you those amazing reviews.
All right, so first up, let's talk about why this is such a hot idea for people living in the UAE in the first place. I mean, what's the actual potential?
So look, the promise of extra income is obviously a massive driver. I mean, that's why most people even consider it. But it's not the whole story. What's also super appealing is the flexibility you get. You know, deciding exactly when your place is available, and you're getting access to a global platform that brings guests to your doorstep, bookings you just couldn't get by yourself. Okay, now for the part you absolutely have to get right. This is the most critical step, and honestly, it's where most people get tripped up. We're talking about the legal stuff. Getting this right is, without a doubt, the foundation for everything else.
The very first thing, and I can't stress this enough, is getting a no objection certificate, or what everyone calls an NOC, from your landlord. This is not optional. It's completely non-negotiable across the entire UAE. For instance, if you're in Dubai, this is required under Article 24 of the rental law. Now, you should always check the specific laws for your emirate, but trust me, a written NOC is the universal first step. No exceptions.
So the big question is, how do you actually get them to say yes? Look, don't just send a casual text. You need to approach this professionally. Think about what they're worried about. Damage, noise complaints, you name it. And have a plan ready to show them how you'll handle it. And here's a pro tip. Make it a win-win for them. Maybe you offer a little bit more in rent. It can be a really powerful way to get them on your side. Once you've got that precious NOC from your landlord, your next stop is official registration. If you're in Dubai, that means you're dealing with the DTCM, the Department of Tourism and Commerce Marketing. The whole process is laid out here. You'll get your documents ready, create an account on their online portal, fill out the application, pay the fee, and then you wait for the green light. Just remember, other emirates have their own versions of this, so always check with your local tourism authority.
And please do not even think about skipping these legal steps. Why? Well, because the authorities take this very, very seriously. If you're caught operating without a license, you could be looking at a fine of up to 5,000 dirhams. That's a huge hit. The reward is just not worth that kind of risk. It's as simple as that.
All right, so you've done the hard legal work. Now we can get to the fun part. Let's talk about how you take your now approved apartment and turn it into a must-book, top-tier Airbnb listing that people are actually excited to stay in.
Look, your space can't just be available. It has to be properly set up for guests. This checklist is basically your Bible for the bare minimum. You absolutely need safety gear like smoke detectors. But then you've got the comfort stuff. A really good mattress, fast Wi-Fi. These are not luxuries anymore. They're expectations. And of course, the place has to be spotlessly clean. No compromises there.
Now, how your place looks online is just as important as how it looks in real life. Your photos have to be amazing. That's the first thing anyone sees. They're non-negotiable. Then your description needs to pull people in, but also be totally honest. Your pricing needs to be smart and competitive. You got to think of your listing as your digital shop window. It has to look good. Just look at this example right here. See the difference? A great description doesn't just say, 2 beds, 1 bath. That's boring. It tells a story. It paints a picture. When you read breathtaking views of the Burj Khalifa from the balcony, you can almost feel yourself standing there. You're selling an experience, not just renting out 4 walls. That's the key.
Okay, last section. Getting people to book your place is one challenge, but keeping them happy, getting those glowing reviews, and building a real successful side business, that all comes down to mastering the art of being a great host.
So what actually gets you that coveted 5-star review? It really just boils down to these things right here. And look at how important cleanliness and communication are. Together, they are a huge chunk of the guest's overall impression. If you can nail those two, and make sure your listing is accurate and your amenities are solid, you are absolutely on the fast track to becoming a superhost.
This is so important for protecting yourself and making sure everyone has a good time. You need to be crystal clear about the rules. And there are really two sets of rules, right? There are your house rules, like no parties or quiet hours, but then there are the official local laws that everyone, including your guests, has to follow, like the rules around overnight visitors. You have to communicate both clearly and upfront.
So, here's the bottom line. If you do your homework, get all the legal prep done right, and really focus on quality, the opportunity to be a successful Airbnb host in the UAE is absolutely huge. We've given you the roadmap, so the only real question left is, are you ready to start this journey and become a professional host?